When I was 15, my family told me they were taking me out to celebrate. Instead, they drove me to an abandoned lot, tossed my bag, and drove away laughing. I called 20 times, no answer. When my brother finally picked up, he mocked, "Did you really think we wanted you around? We're finally free. Don't call again." And 4 hours later, my dad texted, "You want a family? Try not being the stain we can't scrub out." I sat on the curb and just whispered, "One day you'll pay for this, I promise." 6 years later, I left one letter on my parents' porch, and what I did next left them speechless. Yesterday, my dad sent 83 frantic messages. "Please, we'll do anything." Hey everyone, before we dive in, I have a quick favor to ask. If you enjoy content like this, please hit the subscribe button. It's free, supports the channel, and ensures you never miss out on amazing videos. Alright, let's get started. Okay, I don't know if this is going to sound dramatic or like I'm fishing for sympathy or whatever, but I swear this actually happened and it's just been in my head for years. I'm not looking for advice or it gets better lectures. I just got to get this out. If you're bored or whatever, cool. If not, IDC. I need to write it down. So this is about 6 years ago. I was 15. I'm Caden, the youngest. My family is, well, not TV movie evil, but like everyone's always got something to prove. Dad's got this thing about work ethic and don't embarrass us and all that, but he never really says it straight. It's more like you just know, you know? Mom's on her own trip, always acting like she's a big deal, always worried what her friends think. My brother Riley's a year older and honestly always felt like he was Dad's golden boy and Mom's little errand runner. I think I was just the extra kid, the one they never really wanted. And yeah, I know that's a main character thing to say, but it's not like I'm special. It just was what it was. Always felt like I was the thing they blamed when stuff went south. So this one day in October, I remember it was raining, like that gross drizzle that just makes everything smell like shoes. I just had this thing at school, like an award or whatever for this art contest. Not a big deal, but it was the only time anyone seemed proud of me all year. I got home, and Mom was weirdly nice, like asking if I wanted to order food or if I needed new headphones, which lol, obviously she never ordered. Dad was just kind of silent, but not mad, which was already a win. Riley kept looking at his phone. I remember thinking, okay, maybe things are going to be chill for once. Then like 2 days later, they say we're going out to celebrate. No details, just get your stuff, come on, don't make us late. I even asked, what are we doing? And all Mom says is, you'll see, it's a surprise. But her voice was too tight, like she was already annoyed. Riley was wearing his old hoodie, the one he lost after that, and he kept checking his phone, not talking at all. In the car, Dad's driving, Mom's up front, Riley and me in back. No music, just the sound of the wipers and Riley's phone buzzing every few seconds. I tried to joke around like, are we going to get me a cake that says congrats for not being a total disappointment? And Mom just sighs and says, Caden, not today. Okay. Dad's knuckles are white on the wheel. Riley keeps texting, doesn't even laugh or say anything, just silence. We drive for like 20 minutes and it's not the way to any restaurant we ever go to. I ask, where are we even going? And Dad just says something like, shortcut. Mom's not looking at me. My phone buzzes. It's just a random spam email, but I check it anyway because the silence is so loud. We turn onto this side street behind some half-built condos, like nobody is around, just construction junk and puddles. Dad stops the car, puts it in park. He gets out, goes around back, pops the trunk. I just sit there like, huh? Mom's looking at her nails. Riley's not even pretending to care. Dad pulls out my backpack, the one I use for school, still got my sketchbook in it, and just tosses it onto the curb. The sound is loud. He says, get out. Just that. Not yelling, just flat like he's bored. I'm dumb enough to laugh like, what is this? A prank? But nobody's laughing. Mom still won't look at me. Riley finally looks up, but he looks pissed off, not sorry. I get out, because what else am I supposed to do? And as soon as my feet hit the ground, Riley slams the car door and locks it. Dad gets back in, starts the engine. I try to open the back door, but it's locked. I knock on the window. Riley just shakes his head and he's smirking now, like he's been waiting for this. Dad pulls away, and as they drive off, Riley sticks his head out the window and shouts something I can't even hear. But I know it's about me being dead weight, so yeah, I'm standing in the rain, holding my bag. And I'm like, okay, this is the dumbest joke ever. I figure they're gonna loop around and pick me up, right? Or like this is some weird lesson about being grateful or whatever. But 10 minutes go by, then 20. I try to call Mom, straight to voicemail. Try Dad, rings once, then nothing. Try Riley. He declines it instantly. It's cold and my shoes are soaked. I sit on the curb scrolling through my phone like maybe someone will text me, or maybe this is a TikTok prank and someone's gonna jump out and say gotcha. But nothing, just rain and the sound of my own phone at 3% battery. About an hour in, I start walking. Because I'm not just going to sit there. There's a bus stop maybe half a mile away, so I go for it. I keep calling because it's so stupid. Like, how is this real? Who does this? I leave voicemails, some angry, some just like pleading, which I low-key hate remembering now. I'm mad, but also embarrassed. Like, what if someone I know sees me? Finally, after I've called maybe 20 times, Riley picks up. He just laughs, says, did you really think we wanted you around? We're finally free. Don't call again. Then hangs up. I try again, but now my number's blocked. At this point, I'm just numb. I use the last of my phone battery to text my friend Max, but he's not answering. I walk, and it feels like hours because nobody is outside and the rain is just getting heavier. My bag's getting gross and heavy, and I keep replaying everything in my head, trying to figure what I did wrong. I know I'm not perfect, but it feels like I'm in a bad movie. I make it to a gas station, ask if I can charge my phone for a sec at the counter. The guy just shrugs, doesn't even ask why I look like crap. I sit on the plastic bench by the soda fridge, staring at the wall, waiting for the phone to get enough juice. I check again, no calls, no messages. I post a throwaway on Instagram, something vague, just to see if anyone will notice. Nobody does. 4 hours after they left me, finally Dad texts, not even a call, just a text, says, "You want a family? Try not being the stain we can't scrub out." That's it, no explanation, no come home, nothing. I don't even answer. I just sit there, and I swear I could hear the sound of the fridge more than my own thoughts. I look at my bag, at my sketchbook poking out, and I just keep thinking, someday you're going to pay for this, I promise. Not because it'll fix anything, but because if I don't, then what was the point of any of this? I wait for my phone to charge enough. Then I text Max again. Finally, he answers, says I can crash at his place just for tonight. His mom doesn't even ask questions when I show up, just points to the couch and hands me a blanket. I can still feel the rain in my shoes. I don't sleep. I just stare at the ceiling and go through every convo I ever had with them. Every time they made me feel like I was the mistake. I know some people are going to say there's more to it, or they must have had a reason. Yeah, maybe. I was never the kid they wanted, I guess. Mom always said I was too much, too loud, too into weird stuff. Dad never had time for anything that wasn't about him. Riley always made it clear he thought I was the reason he didn't get more attention. I don't know when it started, but it always felt like I was just the spare. I keep thinking about that night. The way they just drove off, the way Riley laughed, I don't think I'll ever forget it. But I also know that's not where this ends. I got my own plans now. If anyone cares, yeah, there's more. This isn't the part where I forgive them or whatever. Next part's where it actually gets interesting. Update 1. So yeah, I wasn't planning to update this fast, but since a bunch of people DM'd me asking what happened after, I guess here's the rest. Or like the next part anyway. Not going to fake summarize everything like some stories here. If you didn't read part 1, long story short, my family drives me out, dumps me, pieces out laughing, blocks me. Cool celebration, right? I crashed at Max's place that night. His mom barely asked questions, and honestly that was fine with me. She just said something like, "You hungry?" and pointed at the microwave. I tried to act normal for a bit, but it's not like you can hide you're carrying your life in a backpack and your shoes are soaked because you've been walking through puddles all night. Max tried to get me to play Fortnite with him and his cousin, but I just wanted to stare at my phone and hope someone from my family would realize how messed up it was. They didn't. I used to think people would notice if you just disappeared. But the next day at school, nobody said anything. Riley was there acting regular like nothing happened. He ignored me in the halls, which honestly wasn't new, but now it felt like I was seeing everything for the first time. He whispered something to his friends, and they all looked at me with that, "Oh, that's the kid" look. It got worse when I heard what my family was saying about me. Max showed me a group chat. Some mutuals were talking about how my mom said I ran off and was being dramatic again, and that they tried everything but I just couldn't be helped. Dad told people I'd been making things hard for everyone at home, so they let me go. I saw screenshots. I saved all of them, just in case people believed them too. Even teachers started giving me weird looks, like I was a troublemaker or something. Tiba, I didn't even try to defend myself. Why bother? It's not like anyone would take my side over their word. Plus, I was just tired. Max let me stay a few more nights, but his mom started getting weird about it, like she was worried I'd never leave. I heard her telling Max he should focus on his own problems and not get dragged into drama. Can't really blame her. So after a week, I went to stay with a guy from my art class, Clyde, who had an air mattress in his basement. His family didn't even notice I was there most of the time. I just kept my stuff in a duffel and tried not to be in the way. The thing is, I started seeing how my family actually worked. All that "we're so close" stuff was BS. I was just the excuse. Dad was always angry about money, not screaming, but you'd hear it in the way he'd slam the fridge or make those comments about people who waste everything. Mom was obsessed with how things looked. She'd freak out if the neighbors saw our trash cans weren't lined up or whatever. Riley honestly just wanted to get away with stuff. He always blamed me if something broke or if Dad got mad about his grades. I was just the built-in scapegoat. Without me around, they finally got to play the "look how hard we have it" card. Max tried to help at first, but after a while he just kind of drifted. I get it. Nobody wants to be the guy who's always dealing with someone else's family drama. We still played games sometimes, but it wasn't the same. He stopped inviting me to hang out with the other guys. Clyde was chill, but he was busy with his own mess. His dad yelling at him for being lazy, his little sister always taking over the basement when she had friends over. I kept to myself. Started spending more time walking around or sitting in the library after school, using their Wi-Fi to try and figure out what the hell I was supposed to do next. I started keeping everything, every text, every DM, every rumor I heard about myself. Screenshots, emails, even the voicemails where Mom was trying to reach out. She left too. Both sounded like she was reading from a script. Then nothing. I started writing down stuff I remembered. Times Dad would yell at me for things Riley did. Times Mom would tell me not to embarrass her at events. Not because I thought it would save me or whatever, but just so I wouldn't forget. It was like, if they were going to make me the villain, I might as well have the receipts. Then there was this one time at the grocery store, maybe 2 months after everything. I was there with Clyde, just buying snacks, and I see my mom. She's with some lady from her yoga group, loud, laughing about something. She sees me and she just turns away, doesn't even blink. I walk right past her. She grabs the woman's arm and says something quietly, and the lady looks at me like I'm a stray dog. I wanted to say something, like really say something, but all I did was stare back. She walked out, didn't even break stride. Clyde didn't say anything, just handed me the bag and we left. I got used to being invisible after that. Not in a woe-is-me way, just nobody expects anything from you when they've already decided what you are. I started saving up lunch money, odd jobs, whatever I could do. I learned to live with less. I started to see things about my family I never noticed, like how quickly mom would turn on people if they stopped being useful, how dad always talked big but never actually helped anyone, how Riley would talk crap about me to anyone who'd listen but never say anything to my face if he was alone. But I wasn't just sitting around feeling sorry for myself. I started paying attention. Who did they trust? Who did they owe money to? Who did they brag to? I made notes. It wasn't a plan yet, but it was something. I started to get angry. Not sad, not scared, just furious. Every time I saw a post from Riley about his amazing family, mom posting pics like she was the world's best parent, I wanted to break something. Instead, I wrote it down. I started to see how fake it all was. Then came the family birthday. Not mine, my cousin Everly's. She's the only one in the extended family who ever treated me like a person. She texted me, said I should come even if my parents didn't want me there. I figured, screw it. What's the worst that could happen? I show up and you'd think I'd walked in naked or something. Mom's face went white. Dad just stared at his phone. Riley whispered to his cousin and snickered. But Everly hugged me, dragged me into the kitchen, and handed me a plate. I didn't make a scene, but I didn't hide either. People started asking questions like, hey, where have you been? We never see you anymore. I just shrugged and said, ask them. Aunt Melissa cornered Mom about something I couldn't hear, but I saw Mom slam her water glass down and leave the room. Dad left right after, muttering something about kids these days. Riley shoved me when nobody was looking. I shoved him back, hard, and he almost fell into the cake table. He hissed at me to leave, so I just raised my voice and said, maybe you should tell everyone why you're so mad, Riley. Or should I? He turned red but didn't say anything. People were watching now. I left before things got too heated, but not before I saw Aunt Melissa giving Mom this look like, what the hell did you do? It didn't fix anything, but it was the first time I saw even a crack in their perfect act. Everly texted me later, just said, you're not crazy. Okay. I held on to that for a while. After that, I started thinking more seriously about what I was going to do. Not just survive, but make them pay. Not in a movie revenge way, but in a, you don't get to pretend you're the victim way. I started collecting more stories, texts, screenshots, anything that showed who they really were. I stopped waiting for anyone to help. I started looking at all the ways people actually hurt each other. Money, reputation, the stuff that really matters when you care more about what people think than about your own kid. I didn't have a plan yet, but I had all the pieces, and I wasn't scared of them anymore. If anything, I started to realize they were more scared of me than I ever was of them, because they knew one wrong move and the whole perfect family thing falls apart. That was the last time I saw any of them for a long time. After that, it was just me, and the idea that, yeah, maybe I couldn't fix what they broke, but I could make sure they felt it every day, just like I did. Next part's where it all starts coming together. And Tiba, it gets way messier than anyone expected. Update 2, if you're new, scroll up for the backstory. I'm not rehashing it all. Short version, my family ditched me at 15, tried to erase me, then played victim. I promised I'd make them pay, and I meant it. This isn't some found family, found peace post. Nah, this is about making them feel it. You want the soft stuff? Swipe away. So let's fast forward. 6 years out, I'm 21. Not rich, but not a mess either. I moved cities as soon as I could. Needed space, new air, new people who didn't know my last name. Not easy, but you get used to being the guy who's got nothing to lose. I kept my head down, worked, never posted anything about my family online, never used my real last name if I could help it. I blocked every number they ever used, but not before saving everything. Every text, every email, every time they tried to run me down to anyone who'd listen. People always say revenge is pointless, but TBH, those are the people who never had it done to them. I started planning for real after the Everly birthday thing. I'd seen the cracks. I knew what mattered to them. Reputation, money, being respected. They didn't care about me, but they cared what people thought about them. That's where I hit first. I started watching, not stalking, just paying attention. My cousin Everly, the normal one, would send screenshots sometimes. Riley posting pics online of his new apartment, lol. It was their guest room. Mom with her wine group, dad at some local events, always pretending they were fine. But I'd see comments, little things, people asking if they'd seen me, people mentioning rumors. But I've always watched. I knew where they shopped, who they hung out with, what they bragged about. I waited. I needed them to get comfortable. I needed them to think I was gone. Then about 6 months ago, Riley tried to DM me. Didn't even say hi, just, hey, do you have any of my old stuff from your room? Like I kept his crap after all that. I didn't reply. Instead, I checked out his social, saw he was bragging about some side hustle, but then whining about money in group chats. Max, yeah, the same Max from before, we barely talk now, sent me a screenshot of Riley begging people to Venmo him for pizza. Pathetic. I started hitting pressure points. Not illegal stuff, but stuff that mattered. First, I mailed a letter, handwritten, block letters, no return address, to my parents' house. It was simple, just a list. Every time they told a lie about me, every rumor they spread, every time Mom tried to get sympathy from her friends by spinning some story about her difficult son. I included photocopies of screenshots, actual timestamps, even some stuff they'd forgotten. At the end, I wrote, "You always said you were better off without me. Let's see if everyone else agrees." I timed it for a Monday morning when I knew Dad would check the mailbox before work. Everly texted me later that day, said Mom was freaking out, slamming the pantry door, muttering that someone was trying to ruin her. Dad barely spoke to anyone for 2 days. Riley posted a weird rant on his story about snakes in the grass and deleted it an hour later. No names, but it was obvious. Then I started leaking. Not like blasting everywhere, but dropping hints to the right people. I sent an email, anonymous burner address, to one of Dad's local groups, just attaching a couple of quotes from his own messages about how he wished Kadem would run away for good. I didn't lie, just facts. I dropped a printout in a neighbor's mailbox about how Mom had faked crying at a school event to get out of a donation. I sent Riley's nasty DMs about me, with his handle, no edits, to a couple of people in his friend group who already hated him. I didn't spam. You have to go slow or it looks fake. I just picked the people who would care most, who gossiped, who held grudges, who'd take the bait and run with it. I used what I learned. I waited for the ripples, and trust, they came. First, Dad got cut out of a local group chat. I know because Everly sent me a screenshot. Nothing dramatic, just he's not a good fit. Mom lost her spot running some event. She called Everly and yelled at her for not standing up for family. Riley lost a bunch of followers and his friends started going out without him. He texted me again. This time, "I know what you're doing, you psycho." I just left him on read. It wasn't just social stuff. I knew Dad had some outstanding debts and I knew exactly who he owed. I found out from Everly that Mom had been borrowing money from a neighbor, pretending it was for emergencies. So I let the neighbor know in a very polite anonymous letter that Mom had lied about where the money went. I didn't accuse, just asked if she'd followed up on it. A couple days later, Everly said Mom was losing it, yelling at Dad about who's spreading lies. Dad tried to call me. I ignored it. People started looking at them different. I saw it in the way they posted less, in the way Mom suddenly stopped tagging people in her photos, in the way Dad's friends stopped commenting "legend" under his old posts. Riley started showing up in fewer group pics. Mom started texting Everly late at night, asking if she'd heard from me, if I was okay, if I was telling stories. Everly just told her to stop. The best part? They couldn't blame me directly, because I never said anything that wasn't true. I never threatened, never made anything up. I just let people see what was already there, and I made sure every time they tried to spin it, there was always someone who had the receipts. I'd send a screenshot, drop a hint, pass along an old message. Nothing big, just enough. Mom slammed the door on Dad one night. Everly told me Dad shoved Riley at the kitchen table. Riley shoved back, yelling something about, "This is your fault." They started fighting in front of people, not just behind closed doors. They looked messy, they looked weak, and everyone could see it. Every time I thought about going easy, I remembered that night in the rain. Riley's face in the window. Dad's stupid text. I remembered the silence. I remembered how they acted like I was the problem. Nah, not anymore. I sent one last letter, this time just to Dad. No threats, no demands, just a list of names. People he'd lied to, people I'd told the truth to. I ended it with, "This is only the beginning. I know what matters to you, and I know how to take it away, piece by piece." Everly texted me asking if I was okay. I told her, "Yeah, I'm good." She didn't ask for details. Look, I know some people are going to say I'm petty or that I should let it go, but you don't know what it's like to have your whole life rewritten by people who only care about themselves. I'm not done yet, not even close. Next part, let's just say they're about to find out what it feels like to lose everything you pretended to care about. You wanted to be free of me? Cool. See how you like living with the truth. Final update. Not gonna lie, I thought about not posting this because it's messy. I know people are gonna come at me for being too much or whatever, but I said from the start, I'm not here for closure, I'm here for consequences. If you're expecting some teary reunion or a viral moment or me forgiving anybody, just click away. This is the part where it actually hit. So after that last letter, things started to get real. Everly texted me out of nowhere asking if I was okay. And yeah, I was fine, just busy. But she said Mom was losing it. Dad was barely talking. Riley was walking around the house slamming doors all day. Apparently Mom tried to call a family meeting about someone trying to ruin them. Dad said it was just haters. Riley started locking his room, which is hilarious because he never locked anything. But now he was hiding in there 24/7, barely eating, barely talking. Everly said Mom tried to slap Riley after he called her the reason for everything falling apart. Riley yelled back for once, shoved his chair so hard it hit the wall. Dad just left and went for a drive. I waited a week. Didn't reply to anything. Then, on a random Thursday, I showed up at the old house. It felt weird standing there with the letter in my hand, but I didn't hesitate. I put the envelope on the porch, rang the bell, and walked back down the steps. I could see Mom through the window. She was in her robe, staring at her phone, looked up and saw me, and her mouth just dropped open. She didn't come out, though. Nobody did. I just left. Inside the envelope, literally everything. Screenshots, printouts, notes, a little handwritten timeline of every lie, every rumor, every time they used me as the excuse for their own crap. Receipts for money, Mom borrowed from neighbors, emails Dad sent talking trash, DMs from Riley to his friends. I even threw in a printout of Dad's group chat where he called me the stain we can't scrub out. No commentary, just facts. I left my old Metro card in a note. Here's what you left me with. Let's see how you do. That's when the real panic started. Everly sent me screenshots of the group chat blowing up. Mom accusing her of helping me. Dad blaming her for not stopping this. Riley texting everyone trying to find out who else had seen this. People started pulling back. Old friends stopped inviting them to things. Mom lost her spot in her wine group. Neighbors started asking questions about the money. Nobody trusted them anymore. Dad tried to host some backyard barbecue and only 2 people showed up, and they left early. Then the texts started. At first just Dad, 1 or 2 a night saying, "Can we talk, and please, let's fix this." I ignored every single one. Then it was Mom, sending walls of text about how she did her best and it's not fair. Riley got in on it, mostly just blaming me for ruining his life, saying if I didn't stop he'd make sure nobody ever spoke to me again. I ignored him too. Then it ramped up, voicemails, emails, even a handwritten note slipped under Everly's door at her apartment, begging her to talk to me. I blocked them everywhere except one old email just to watch them squirm. That's where the 83 messages from Dad landed. It was wild, paragraphs begging, promising to do anything, asking what I wanted. Then it flipped. He started blaming me, saying I was destroying the family for no reason. Then back to begging. Mom sent videos of her crying, which was so fake I almost laughed. Riley started posting on his story about fake people and family betrayal, but nobody cared. His comments were empty. Everly just sent me a thumbs up emoji every time a new meltdown happened. The thing is, they tried everything but an actual apology. Not once did any of them say we were wrong. It was just stop telling people or let's talk. They weren't sorry. They were scared. That's what I wanted. I wanted them to feel cornered, desperate. Just like I'd felt all those nights on some rando's couch. All those times I watched them lie about me and nobody believed me. I know people are waiting for some twist, but that's not real life. What happened is this. They lost. They lost their nice little stories, their friends, their fake community. Their money's tight now because nobody lends them anything. Dad's buddies won't back him anymore. Mom can't show her face at the club. Riley's just a ghost. Nobody invites him anywhere. He barely leaves the house. I didn't have to do anything illegal. Didn't hack. Didn't fake anything. Just showed people the truth and let them deal with it. I never went back. Not for holidays. Not for birthdays. Not for anything. Everly and I talk sometimes, but we don't bring up the family if we can help it. I'm not interested in making nice or playing happy. I got my own people now, my own life. Sometimes I run into people who used to know my family, and they just kind of look at me like they're not sure if they should say anything. I just nod and keep moving. Last night, Dad sent 83 messages in a row. Literally just please, we'll do anything. Just stop. Mom's still sending guilt trips. Riley's still blaming everyone but himself. I left them on read. That's all they get. They got the freedom they wanted. Now they get to live with it. So yeah, that's it. Not a happy ending. Not a cinematic revenge fantasy. Just real-life payback. Slow and ugly and fair. Sometimes that's all you can ask for. And if you're reading this and you're thinking of pulling that family is everything line, save it. Sometimes family is just the people who hurt you the longest. And sometimes you get to be the one who ends it. That's enough for me.